again 2 nights in a row. All right. Got another draft today with this weird patch in Massive. So doing another draft today here. I'm just going to hop on the chat. Let's pop this out. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Wait for people to join here. I'm just going to keep, we're going to dive right into it. Okay. Let's get back to this. This weird kind of chordal patch in Massive X. I haven't used this synth very much. Let's take a look. It's a ukulele strum, 2 octaves. Let's go back to that. See which one you guys like better. I like, there's 2 versions of that. There's this lower one and then there's this higher one. That's the lower one right there. Versus the higher one. It's tough. I like both of them. They could be different parts of the arrangement. Let's see. Lo-fi sound in Omnisphere 2. I'm loving Omnisphere. Let's dig into the breakdown. this limiter off so we have a little more room. Okay, let's hear some of this percussion that's going. Pretty simple. Sometimes I like to go into the drop with just one kick like that, just no other claps or anything else. And then just let those elements come back in. So I'm going to remove some of those. I got some new splice loops, some of the new spin-in stuff on from Breathe Carolina and Blaster Jacks. Just try to get like a handful of samples from different packs, mix it up. It's amazing when you just solo combinations of things, you just get new ideas. Your just brain can't handle too many layers. The lead sound is okay. I don't love it. Okay, let's hear just that beat with bass line. Or yeah, let's hear the bass that is 2 layers. It's a lot of bass layers within layers. So 2 instances of Omnisphere with Trillion. Those are Voyager patches. All right, let's dig in here. So there's some weird bug with Omnisphere. It puts this weird automation in. So let's just get rid of that. Kind of doing some more swingy stuff than usual. Just maybe this is for an alias, we'll see. So it's kind of fun to work on music with no real destination in mind, no real intention. Just get into that practice, build that muscle every day. So it's another loopy kind of track like the one I was doing last night that I think it's easy to get tired of it, and it probably needs to be developed through a breakdown with some pads. So let's mess around with that. See what happens. Because you don't want to overdo it. There's enough elements there, but I want something else to push it along. So what can we do? I'm going to find a pad sound real quick. Starting to become a beefy session here. So I'm in Omnisphere, and I am going to go through the hardware library. So many good sounds in here. So I've taken the delay compensation off, so you're hearing a little delay in there. Okay, so there's two sections where the song is in C and where the song is in F. So let's go. This part is in C. So this is the part where you're just throwing paint against the wall. I'm just gonna wing it here. Let's try something. Alright. It's hard to get the timing right because there's so many plugins on this track right now. So I'm gonna have to just pop these in manually. Since that's way off. So, but I think the notes are getting closer. So the song is in, what is it? So I'm going to quantize those 16th notes, and I'm going to put it in notator 16D. Oftentimes I'll just, to get the timing right, I'll keep the beat on it, or at least you gotta have the metronome, something to reference against. Even if it's in the breakdown, that's a mistake I make a lot, where I'll, the timing might drift or something on the breakdown, then I forget to change it, and shoot, it's like, because it's in the breakdown, you don't notice it, but you gotta keep the metronome on, or the kick, and then remove that later. Bear with me, we're gonna get it. So that's kind of like, it's kind of the gist of it. so maybe it's something to add some melodic dimension in the breakdown. So I'm going to mute that kick again. So it's probably a little too repetitive, so maybe I change one note so it's a little more kind of counterpoint, just a little more variation. Yeah. So yeah, feel free to ask anything in the chat, guys. I'm here and just doing a little. This might be a side project. I don't know. This is just Draft the Days, and this is Ableton 11. Check that out. So this is the beta. It's really stable, but I got it to crash today, the first time. So the nice thing with 11 is you can snap stuff to the scale. It's really handy. It's close. Something's clashing in there. I'm not... Where is that? I think that's a little better. Sometimes there's just too many layers. Sometimes if I want to see if a lead or whatever sounds in there, if it's not working, if it's working, maybe just throw a filter on it and bring the filter down. So let's do that on the bus. I'm going to make one more EQ in here. Kind of fun to just do gestures with that. Okay, so here's a really fun thing I like to do, and hopefully this doesn't crash. Use this LFO, not LFO tool, but a little Max for Live plugin. So let's do that, and I think it should all work in Ableton 11. Let's check Max for Live. Where is it? It should be in here. LFO. Modulators. There it is. So I did this on the Deadmau5 remix, where he had some strings, and I used it to just shape the filters because there wasn't a lot of stems to work with. So let's map that to this. triplets like that, or? So I'm not gonna do triplets. That just turns into a headache later on. But I do like that groove though. And so it's just a good way to get ideas sometimes. And it doesn't have to be so drastic too. You can bring up the minimum value. It's kind of nice, something a little more rounded. All right, let's zoom out. Let's see where we're at on this track. Getting a little busy. So let's take that kick back out again. So let's hear it as the breakdown. Yeah, it's getting busy because those were two different leads. That's why. Okay, so let's have that go into just a drop with the bass line. I'm just testing out arrangement ideas here. See how it feels. And let's let's hear it from the beginning. And yeah, feel free to ask away. I'm sort of juggling the chat in this, but I can see you guys in the chat on there. I'm going to do this for maybe 15 minutes. Oh, there's the vocal chop. I should move that to another bus. So let's see what we have here. We got a little lead. We got a couple layers of percussion, a little vocal chop. I'm going to move down a couple different mid-range and sub-bass layers. Let's put this vocal chop and Vox bus. put sidechain on that. So I'm using Shaperbox 2. This is amazing. There's a lot more than sidechaining. You can add a lot of stuff. Let's bring this down. Sometimes I just like to do a more narrow loop. So just loop like narrower than that. So like shrink those loop braces and then maybe solo some different layers here, maybe, or mute some layers. Like a whole different song. Like maybe that's the intro. Maybe that's the B section. We'll see. Can definitely do a better lead sound than that. So we're gonna mute that. So if I'm hearing this kind of section and I want to just, it's probably a faster way to copy all those elements. I'm not even sure how, but I'm just going to take, it's just bass and drums. So I'm just going to take this wedge and just bring that to the front of stage. So when I move stuff off to the right, actually on your screen, to the right, that's like off stage where I'll move some ideas. And I try to make fast decisions, and I'm like, I want to cut this out, take this, and just move on. And then some ideas I want to keep around just in case, because your first instinct can be right. I'm just preserving that idea while I work on the other middle section chunk. Okay, we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna come back to that. So I either have to commit to like that one, there's two different regressions in there and I haven't committed yet. Okay, so let's put these layers back on. was just thinking that almost has this fake steel pan sound to it. So maybe I do a layer that's either steel pan or like a hang drum or a kalimba, something with a little more metallic resonance that sounds a little less cheap, but it might be too much. But bear with me. Let's try it. Let's save this so it doesn't blow up. Okay. Let's take Omnisphere. And so I love layering these organic elements with synthetic elements, always trying to fuse the two. It doesn't always work, but try to get it to work together like a compound, which is kind of nice. Okay. That's way too low, obviously. And it's tricky because the original part in Massive was this chordal sound, so the chords were baked in. I don't know if this will work. Let's see, what else do we have here? It kind of works. The tuning is a little rubbing a little bit. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try a couple more. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but. Gotta change the notes on there, obviously. I think I like that original one. Okay, so all that's really doing, that's giving it a little bit of a little timbre and a little width. It's a wider sound. So let's fix that sour note that's in there. So the new thing in Live 11 that's nice is you have scale. Let's turn that on. I think I'm in C minor. Actually, I'm in F minor for this section. So you can see that right there, it's out of scale. So you can visually see what's not going to snap in there. Someone was saying bell would be a good idea. Bell could work too. I might put a little bit crusher. It needs a little more texture in here. So let's check it out. There's a new update to Redux or Redo in Ableton 11. So let's take a look. It's pretty good. It's not blowing my mind, but let's check it. Look, it just gives you a little more options to work with. So it's really good to hear all the layers at once when you make the adjustments rather than just soloing everything. But just for this. And there's finally a wet dry knob on here. Just a little texture. Oops. Too subtle. Too subtle. All right, so I'm gonna put in. I love using this drum plugin on keys, Ableton stock one. This just works on everything. Let's see. Ableton drum bus. It's not a subtle plugin, so that's 0. Watch your eardrums. %wet. Let's put a little EQ after that. Let's see. So I have all my favorites, my go-tos, just right there, ready to go. So I'll just cut out some of the junk. I'll boost the fundamental a little bit, maybe cut some mud out. And then we'll see how it layers with these. Okay, to answer some of your questions, Guardian was asking, how much time do you spend on reference headphones versus monitors? I just have headphones on right now to prevent any sort of slapback and leaks. So these are Vimotos. I love these, but I'm using Focal SM9s, and no pair of monitors has saved me in any situation. So you got to just get good monitors that you love and you're used to. But I do think it's a really good check on headphones, despite experts recommending not to use headphones. I think it's a really good gut check if you know your headphones well, and they're super, super subjective. Okay, so I'm gonna go like another 10 minutes or so. Okay, so just to recap what we're doing there, that was kind of broadening the stereo spectrum a little bit. Like that's a fairly mono sound. You hear some of the reverb and things. There's 2 octaves of this massive patch. There's some reverb that's giving you some width, but I wanted a naturally wider sound to thicken it. So I still have that little LFO EQ filter automation on there. Taking some of the highs off if I need it. I don't know. Let's A/B it. So that's really what you got to do. Instead of just soloing stuff into oblivion, hear the whole thing. let's hear a little more of this, what we have so far, and then wrap it up. But this is getting close to where I want something to be for a draft today. I gotta sleep on it. So this is what I worked on this earlier today. You're kind of hearing the result of this is like 2 or 3 hours of work. So it's getting really repetitive. So that's that's like a sign I got to take a break from it, or it's just looping a little too much. That's why we brought in that other line. This like maybe that needs some automation to break it up. Okay, so let's copy that. Let's try this, and then we'll wrap things up. Okay. Let's put this here. Just add a little tempo so it's not so sustained. I like that because it's not clashing with all the high frequencies. Okay, let's put that clap in there. So that's a good technique for like breaking up sustained pads. You could always do it with side chains, but this is nice. So it's just a Ableton Max LFO tool. Super useful just for shaping things. But I'm going to wrap up. Thank you guys for joining me. As I was saying last night, I'm doing these more often. So definitely any subscriptions, appreciate it. I'm also doing a Patreon thing. So every mix that I do that gets taken down for copyright, all that stuff is in this huge archive of hundreds of mixes I've done for SiriusXM, for the podcast, for the mix shows, all there without any takedowns. So check out patreon.com/MorganPage. Make sure to subscribe on here as well. And I'll be back on Wednesday, do my live stream right here in the booth. And I'll see you guys then. So have a great night, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.